Welcome back to Rochi Roach TV. I'm your host, Rochi Roach, and here I am with artist, activist, mentor, and friend, Abram Moya Jr.
Thank you. My name is Abram Moya Jr. I'm an artist, curator, and coordinator, and activist also. I would like to dedicate this video to a woman who has been involved and active in the community for many years. Her name is Gloria Arianas. Gloria Arianas first started out with the Brown Berets in East LA and created the first free clinic on Whittier Boulevard. And from that free clinic, you now have Ultimed. But now she has been working with and very active with the Native American and indigenous crowd, and especially the Native Americans from here in California. Unfortunately, she has been very ill, but she is a surviving warrior. Get well, and the Great Spirit is helping you out, Gloria. My work, I've been an artist for over 55 years. I've been an activist for over 50 years, and a community activist. I've graduated from Cerritos Community College and graduated from California State University, Fullerton, back in '72. Art has been very much my passion. It helped me out through my college years. Even when I was working full-time with the Southern California Gas Company, I was also doing artwork at the same time and doing gallery shows. I've been referred to as a muralist lately, but in actuality, I'm just an artist. I'm not a muralist. I was taught about the fundamentals of art and the fine arts with Emigdio Vasquez, who was my mentor and very good friend and brother. And I've known and worked with him for over 30 years. We've done shows throughout Orange County, some in LA and in San Jose and in Long Beach. Also, Emigdio showed me how to work in the politics of gallery showing. Now, in muralism, after Emigdio had passed away in 2014, Emigdio Vasquez's son Higgy introduced me to the Santa Ana Artist Coalition, which I became a part of back in 2014. My first mural there was working in the alley with Moises Camacho and in the regular group. Moises Camacho, I acknowledge him in this and thank him for teaching me the main fundamentals of muralism. I worked with him for over 2 years, and we did murals such as the Siempre Santana. That's on the back of the Godinez High School. And I was very proud and privileged and honored to work with Moises, where he taught me some of the fundamentals of muralism. But I've also done and curated over 8 art gallery shows with Santa Ana College and Orange County Center for Contemporary Arts and with La Artista Marina Aguilera. I also was involved in helping out to develop the Chicano Heritage Month. Yes. That's just a brief statement of what I've done. There's a lot more to it, but
Yeah, so if you'll join us, we'll be taking a look at the artwork of Abram Moya Jr. Here we are in Abram's studio. And can you explain to us a few of your artworks?
Yes, welcome to my studio. And first of all, I'd like to say that my style is not the status quo type of style that you'll see with a lot of Chicano artists. I'm a Chicano and I'm an artist, but I have a different, complete style in my work. I don't do a Colombian art, but I do portraits and a lot of political style type of arts that have an explanation or that makes you want to think and see what's going on. An example of that is if you have a picture of a young Ethiopian child that is starving, and then next to it you'll see a woman coming out of an eye, which is temptation. And up on the top you have one with the skull coming out of a city that's actually in Lebanon, and it's called War. So you go down on you see a little girl picking a flower, and it's a it's a little Anglo girl, or it could be any young girl, and you'll see a tank coming through, and on the sky, if you look real close, you see the words "Why," and then next to it, you'll see another one of a tree with 2 people, and they're the indigenous people holding it up, but it's the title of it. The false prophet has risen, and he's holding the word prophet is Profit, like in money, and you see the 7 beasts. Excuse me, the title is The Beast Has Risen, and it has the money up there. And then as you go along to see a hand with temptation, trying to reach out. Again, all these 6 that I've shown you right here are not with the style of any particular style of. It's just my own personal style. Of course, you'll see Emigdio Vasquez, who was my mentor, and he's a portrait of him. Emigdio has been very good as my mentor, and another mentor of mine is Carlos Callejo, who's one of the international muralists. And on top of that, you'll see oh God, what do you call them? It's for a mural that Emigdio had done, and that is the Moquette. It's at Anaheim by the Salvation Army, which does a history of the Chicano movement up there. That's Emiggio's. And the top of that one is another small one, a mural that he did in Cypress Street in Orange. And of course, a little painting of Emiggio's down there. But these are the type of styles. And then over here in the corner, you'll see Che Guevara. There's my political influence in it, which I have a lot of admiration for him. A lot of people say, hey, well, Che was a killer. And I said, well, that's, everybody has their heroes. But, the people that they admire, I admire Che. Below that, when you go down, you'll see Reyes Tejerina and Ralph Ramirez from the Brown Berets. They're an inspiration is because of their assertiveness into the Chicano movement. That's where my more Chicanoism comes in, where I would do Chicano art in that aspect. But when you go on down further, you'll see where I do with the young girl with a stocking. And that's when I was with the gas company, we would donate food to these families. And she was one part of the people that we donated. So I saw the photo and I liked it a lot, and I call it Joy. She just received her gift. But as you go across, and you'll see some other one, a pastel of some skulls. Again, my fantasy, my mind is just, working in a different way, and it's no particular style, but my own, with the skulls coming out of the flowers. And then, of course, I'll go down. If you want to go across, you'll see these 3 people in a little small town from a little pueblito from Mexico called La Huerta, Jalisco. And I call them Los Tias. That's where my wife was from, and that's where I got married. And over 44 years ago. And we go across to some of the people, homeboys that I used to work with in the Barrio Plasencia and South Plasencia. And his house is Turis Canton. We have the house in Old Town Plasencia called Turis Canton. That young man was very helpful. His name's Arthur Acevedo. He was very helpful when I came in to work as an activist, and he worked with me. And we stuck it out together for probably about 5 to 10 years. And then we go down, I had admiration, and my wife likes this one, is the Mother Teresa holding the child. And that was just, I was taking this class just for the sake of taking it, just for practice. And I just started working on her face and the hands and stuff. The teacher was kind of amazed because I wasn't going through the standard procedures they do. I already had about 10 years professional artwork doing, and I started differently. And they were all, oh, this is nice. Huh? Yeah. It's just. And then this one down here is a pencil drawing that I did for the gas company for their baseball team, which they used, and for t-shirt design. It's just a picture that I found, and I just fixed it up, and it's all pencil, color pencil. Majority of these that I showed you are watercolors, except for the skeletons coming out of the flowers, the skulls. That's a pastel. The Mother Teresa one is also a pastel. Then we go over to here, like I stated, this hand is watercolors. Up here, the temptation with the woman coming out of the eye, and it glows in the dark. That's also watercolors. We go over here, and you'll see the skeletons dancing under the moonlight, which is one of my more recent paintings. This one and the other one with the like the butterfly or the skulls coming out of the flowers are my more recent paintings. And it's just an idea that's coming out that I came out of my head, and having them dance. And It could be dedicated to Dia de los Muertos dancing. I've done some other ones for Dia de los Muertos. You'll see later on. And this one up here is called Vocational Training. That's a print. I sold the original, and I did show the original in different shows and exhibitions. And I sold it, but the guy that bought it put it into a storage, and it got rained on. So I made a copy and made a print. And the unfortunate part, and here's the secret, and everybody's going to get to know, the print made it backwards. And you can see the lettering up there backwards in there. As we go over here, towards the end, again, it's more my political influence and thought of what's going on in society, which is, there's a lot of these are dealing with that. It's called The Corporate Mercenary. Emigdio Vasquez gave it the title of The Corporate Mercenary. And it's just of a man without a face, but you can't know distinctive face, and he's got his big old gun there, sitting on top of children or youth, trying to grab a bone on there. And if you see right over here, you'll see the edible toxics. And this is a question on dealing with just life in general and what people have to struggle for. One of the things that if you notice, is like even with the young lady in the tank, it's all with the youth, and even with the Ethiopian child, and then over down below, the Filipino insurgent, it deals with young people having to fight, having to struggle, just like what's going on in the Middle East, where over 5,000 young people have died for no good reason, or they become warriors, or they become terrorists, as they call them, or something or other, but they're not. And then here, I had this vision of doing a kind of like a religious, semi-religious painting, kind of strange and different. What's in color is the religion, is the faith that people, well, I wouldn't call it faith, but mostly the evil. The dollar with a snake, and over here the guy that sold off Jesus to put him on the cross, Judas, and then you have the beast with the whore of Babylon. She's standing right there. All that is in color because that is what we're living in. What's in black and white is what's the reality. People will do anything for money or to get even sacrifice their child, for the gold and for the color part of it. So it's kind of like to some people be strange and some people be controversial about it. But again, it's just a feeling, just a thought, And so I put those thoughts onto the painting. Blue flames in here, and it's kind of a different type of painting. Again, it's not this typical Chicano artist type painting, and I don't do that. Everybody does that. I'm not Mr. Status Quo. In this one here, I did this painting in a watercolor class. I took this watercolor class with Mr. Martinez. It's at Fullerton College, just for the because I was going for my graphic certificate, which I did achieve. But everybody was doing nice islands and seascapes with watercolors, and I said, I'm going to do something more, intense. So I got this picture of this young child, and he's Palestinian, to boot, from Gaza, and this is what happens to him: the war, the Palestinian with the gun, the young people. And if you notice way over here in the corner, you have a gravestone. It says on the gravestone, it says youth, and that's what this one is dealing. It's not being pro-Palestinian or not pro-Palestinian or pro this or pro that. It's being that how youth have been put into a position that they have to defend themselves with guns and rifles, and they get sucked into the wars of throughout the world, like the Ethiopian child from Ethiopia, and the Filipino over here, insurgent, and my questions of religion and the survival of the temptation of the hands trying to reach out. But I do some nice, pretty stuff too. You'll see those a little bit later, but some nice paintings as that.
I noticed you saying that you don't, or that your artwork is very different than Chicano art. Can you explain for the audience what is the difference between Chicano art and your art, or if Chicano art can even be defined?
Chicano art can be defined, and there is a lot of big difference. Mine is more of a contemporary, realistic, moving forward, whereas Chicano art is a lot of it is dealing with using the Colombian type style. You see a lot of Aztecs and temples. I do have one with a pyramid in there and flowers. A lot of it is just like a dating back and connecting with our ancestry of the Aztecs and the Olmecs and the Mayans, which is great. I think it's beautiful. You cannot do it, but sometimes it gets overdone. And a lot of times we have to move forward as far as techniques and styles. Uh, we're not just one particular, as a Chicano, we're not just one particular way. I am a Chicano 100%. But I'm an artist. So that makes me a Chicano artist. But my style is not the same as, it's not that I don't want to paint lowriders, which are beautiful cars, but I wish not to. That's my choice. And because I don't do it, doesn't mean I'm not an artist or a Chicano artist. I have been questioned about that. And, a lot of times they don't accept my art because it doesn't have a lot of that. But mine deals with reality, realism. uh, I like Greg Stone's or Emiggio's. Even Emiggio's work, if you look at it, is very realistic and very contemporary, but in the way that he does his work. Uh, Chicano art has more of a flow to it, too. As far as Mexican artists is concerned, I like Jose Clemente Orozco because it's vibrant, and that's what I like to put out in here. And I'm more of a political artist, I like to say, which tries to bring out what's going on in society as a whole, not just with Chicanos, but with everybody and with all people as a whole right now. We have to look at it as in a broader scale.
From what you're saying is that Chicano art maybe focuses more on Aztec, Mayan, or lowrider kind of subject matter, but you can still be a Chicano person, and but your art's focus on something completely different. And so you can be a Chicano making art versus just the Chicano focusing on Chicano art.
Exactly. Because the thing is this is that when they talk about Chicano, what the first thing they do is they look at cholo or gangbang, and we're not that. We have been proven only and recently that a Chicano is an American or Mexican descent that is everyone, or that's American or Mexican descent. It could be a surfer. It could be an astronaut. It could be a musician. It could be the queen of rock and roll like Linda Ronstadt. She's a Chicana. Or one of the main folk singers that changed the music world like Joan Baez. Those are Chicanos. It's just not, I love the music of Santana and Malo and Tierra and El Chicano, but I also love the music of Joan Baez and some of the music that she has sang. It's not the same thing. I mean, a lot of people you're not going to hear playing in the cars. I'm more even in my music. I'm more into more mellow type of music genre. I forgot what the name of it is, but I like good mellow and good sound music, but that's a whole different other thing. But that's you could be a Chicano doing that, even during the psychedelic era. Look who were the top musicians: Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead, Patty Santos and Val Fuentes of a group called It's a Beautiful Day. They're what's his name from the drummer from Canned Heat? He's Mexicano. And a lot of people don't realize that how much influence Chicanos have. If you look at a lot of the cartoons and animations, you see a lot of Chicano names in there. It doesn't have to always be, and I'm going to use this stereotype, a cactus with a guy with a big old sombrero sitting down there looking like he's sleeping. A Chicano is something that is comes from the heart and something you respect. And that word respect goes for all, and we have to respect all. I respect the artists, like I've seen some of these young artists do that are completely different. They might be like a tattoo type of artist or whatever, but you respect them because at least they're trying to something more positive. A Chicano is somebody that's to be positive. And it's time that we start being looked at as positive, not as gangbangers or, graffiti artists. Put graffiti, well, excuse me, I shouldn't say graffiti. Graffiti just as to name something, to destroy some pieces of artwork. There are some great graffiti artists, but not to be put on top of other artwork. Yeah. And I wrote this poem back in the late 70s during the anti-war movement, but which is still works for today, still means a lot today. And it refers to these two paintings that I did of the young girl with the tank and the city of war. And it's called Why? Why is the world at war? Is it for peace or is it for more? They said there would be no more, but there was that one last war. Soon there came a knocking on young people's doors, for it was the man of war. Fathers wondered why. Mothers started to cry while their young were going out to fight. Young blood was being spilled. Communities were being killed. Pockets were being filled, while politicians' wars became young people's horrors. So again, why is the world at war? Is it for peace or is it for more? And this is where I kind of stand, in dealing with a lot of with my politics and my paintings. And that's why I question. And when you do your artwork, something like this, you want to question. You want people to look at it and question. You want for them to ask themselves, what is that? Why is that woman coming out of the eye? What is the temptation? And if you notice, she's carrying an apple. That's Eve with the apple.
Thanks for explaining the difference between Chicano and in the artwork. And I think in today's environment, there's a lot of people that, they want to be Chicano and they have to be a specific way, or else they don't fit in the Chicano world. I noticed that half of your studio is artwork and the other half is like a little library. Can you explain to us about your library?
Sure. Before I do that, you see a lot of skulls around here. And this is just to point out, I'm not into death. And even though I did some skeletons, I think that's fun. That is really fun. And I like to make them into some, everybody makes them into death and evil and stuff. I like to make it into more fun type of stuff. And, there's modding and colors and different things. My skulls even glow in the dark. But anyway, my books. I have a bachelor's of arts degree in sociology, so I kept a lot of my books on sociology and study of. I also have an associated arts degree in sociology, so that's where a lot of these books. But I got involved with the activism, with the anti-war movement, with the SDS. And one of my things my father told me is whatever you're going to get involved with, know what you're getting involved with. Learn about the history, know the history and stuff. So what I did is, you'll see a little picture of the Black Panther Party. So I got a book on Black Panther parties up there. I like to see the history of the active movement of the civil rights movement of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, the Black Panther Party, us, Kathleen Cleaver, Angela Davis. In fact, I even went to an Angela Davis a rally with Sammy Davis Jr. was playing, and Quincy Jones. So that's some of the books that I have here. Also in my political ideology. So you wanted to know what you're reading about. But like I stated, I like Che Guevara, and I have history books on Che Guevara. I have history books on art. On all this is dealing with artwork here, different art periods. And here again, Che and some more art books. World history on photography, and then of course some drawing books on watercolors and what do you call it, the body. I have some more books on the body, but they're nudes. But I put them away because I have grandkids, and I don't want them to come grab them. And then on Chicano books on it. I have the books on The Winds That Swept Mexico, very good book. The Mexican American Heritage. I have one, I think, Res Tejerina in here. Up here, and Occupied America, Ando Sangrando. I have that book, and that's on the East LA riots. And the one on Bert Corona, which I think I recommend to everybody. And those National Geographics up there, those were Emiggio's books. And he was very infatuated and liked the history of World War II. So I have the whole World War II 1940s National Geographics up there. And then I also, just for those people who, don't think I'm religious, and I don't care, anyway, have the Bible. I've read them all, the world history. So if you're going to know something, you got to study it and read about it. Don't just open your mouth and just say, hey, I have these books. I do a little bit more research now on the computer instead of doing it. But those are my research books, my art books, and my political books. And I go back and reference it. In fact, one of these books, in the Chicano art book, Emigdio stuff is in it. So I like reading. If I'm going to get involved with something, I'll read about it, so I'll know about it. Like right now, I know a lot about Bert Corona. Thank goodness I got to work with the man, and I know the man, and I've read his history, and I know his son, his adopted son. That guy is great. In fact, I like him better than Cesar Chavez. Bert Corona was a labor activist and a community activist. He started back in 1938 from Texas. But this man was a top-notch organizer for the labor movement. When Orange County even had their big old strike over here, he was involved with that in the late 30s. He was involved in Plasencia with some of the local people in organizing. He helped organize MAPA, Mexican American Political Association, and for the community because of the racism. He felt the racism and saw the racism in Texas and here in Los Angeles and in California. And he has been involved with a lot of the Sleepy Lagoon incident in the 40s. He was, in fact, Memories of a Chicano History, The Life and Narrative of Bert Corona by Garcia is a great book to read. Anybody that's involved with the community should read this. And even in this book, Cesar Chavez called Bert Corona his mentor. Bert Corona was not only involved with the Sleepy Lagoon, but it was in the 50s. He was blacklisted. When he was in the military, he was blacklisted because he was a labor organizer. He also formed and worked with the undocumented workers, and he's known as the godfather of the immigration rights movement, along with Chole Alatorre, who's the godmother of the immigration rights movement. And he formed a group called Hermandad. And then along with the students in the late 60s and early 70s, they formed a group called CASA, Centro Acción Social Autónomo. And they worked together, and that's when I started working with them in the early 70s. In fact, I did my first organization against the war in Vietnam, a Chicano rally I did at Cal State Fullerton. I brought in Bert Corona to speak, and he spoke. You can find that in the history of Bert Corona. And I've known Bert at that time and worked with him at Casa in Santa Ana for a long time. We did a thing where in Santa Ana, the Unified School District at that time in the 70s, took all the Spanish surnames and went to their homes to see if they had the green cards. And they didn't. If they didn't have the green cards, they would put it on a different list, and they would be sent into the immigration. When I was working with CASA, we put the stop to that, along with Bert Corona's doing it. And Bert Corona also spoke in one of the first immigration rights rallies that we had in Santa Ana. And but Bert Corona's work with labor, mainly with the longshoremen, has been great. I should get more specific on what I mean by great, but he was out there and he's always done it. When Robert Kennedy won the election, the primary election just before he was assassinated, he recognized Bert Corona as one of the organizers for him to get and support to get Robert Kennedy voted. So Bert Corona has had a hand in many of the stuff on it. To me, he is the grandfather of the Chicano movement. He is part of and helped create the Chicano movement back from the late 30s. Cesar Chavez, I would say, is a product of that. And the labor, even though with the United Farm Workers, even though he's got more publicity, Bert Corona was not a man of publicity, but a man he would do a lot of the work and organizing behind the scenes and get things done.
All right, Abram, show us what you got.
Okay, what I have here is, remember I was talking about Aztecs and so forth. I put a pyramid over here in the back on this painting these poinsettias. The reason why I did that is you know that poinsettias are from Mexico. They're not here established in the United States. Everybody throughout has them. And when they criticize, you know, some of the bad stuff that comes out of Mexico, poinsettias started from Mexico. And they're beautiful flowers. And so that's why I put the pyramid over here to show that these are Mexican flowers. Over here again, I have one of my favorite heroes, Bert Corona, a painting that I did of him. And it's a watercolor. This is not the original, it's a print. The original is owned by a lawyer by the name of Juan Barba. And then here, this is some old drawings that I did back when I first started, back in the late 60s.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 18.
Wow.
18 or 19 years old, I remember. But anyway, that's one there. And this one is my first from a final of life drawing of a nude model. And I got an A on it. And it was back in 1968. So I was 19 at the time. So that was back then. And that's my first one. And then, of course, I have some ones here of my mom that I did. They didn't come out as good as I thought. That's why these are over here. There's another one. The head angle is bad on this one. But anyway, those are the ones that I have done, and some of the old ones. The first one, this one I have to get fixed. Of the final, the one I did of a final, I have to get it fixed some way or another so that way I can preserve it. Then, of course, I've done a lot of the one that's fun with skeletons again here is this one, which is sold, and it was a commission job actually, and the original one glows in the dark, and then the print, I made a big old print, about 5 of them, and they're out and they're sold and gone. I plan to make a couple more prints of these. So, and then you have, again, fun with skeletons, dancing, and then here's another one. Why did this guy walking through the cemetery like this? Who knows? He's, you know, just fun with him.
Why is it so important to you to have the skeleton?
It's like I said before, is everybody puts a skeleton as the, you know, kind of negative or mean or, you know, is out there going to be evil. I did it for fun. Let them, you know, like they're dancing and they're having a good time. And you know, it's not for the evil, it's just for fun.
So, Abram, can you explain to us what we have here?
Yes. What I want to show you first is this one here is a poster that I did for the 50th anniversary of the Chicano movement. And here's a picture of Gloria Arianas, which, again, like I said, I'd like to dedicate this video to because of her long struggle and what she has been doing and struggling and working with the indigenous people. So that's Gloria Arianas. And then, of course, you have the different people, Corky, and you have David Sanchez and Ralph Ramirez and Carlos Callejo and Lupe Cardenas. And then down here is Jorge Coqui Rodriguez. But yeah, this is a poster that was done for the 50th anniversary. And which is now in the ultimate Chicano collection.
And before you move on, how close tied are you to the brown berets? Because I noticed there's some brown berets on here.
I was part of the brown berets at the beginning of the 70s, and I was with them for about a couple of years. But Ralph Ramirez and myself are very close. I was also in the Marcha de Reconquista, which is from the march from Calexico to Sacramento. I was participating in that. And I also was at the Marcha de Justicia, where the one individual got killed on January 31st, 1971. That was right after the August 29th, where they had a police riot. And the police, on the January 31st, the police shot into the crowd, injuring over 40 people and killing Gustav Montag, which he was from Europe and participating in the anti-war demonstration of the Chicano moratorium on January 31st. There is theory that there were more Chicanos that were killed, but nobody verified that. But still, that there were some individuals that probably died inside the hospital. But going back into my artwork is one of the first projects that I did is I did a picture, a painting for Cafe Lido that was in Lido Al. in a jazz cafe. I was asked to, and I was commissioned to, and that was the painting that I did. And then I also, when I worked with the gas company, they had like a little a newsprint paper, and they asked me to do something for them, and I did do this one called "The Many Faces," and of Theotherm. I call them Theotherm. This is The Many Faces, and that's the gas company employee. And then that was back in the mid '80s. And then these are
cool.
This is just like I was in a class, a life drawing class, and my instructor asked me, "Hey, but this is a Fullerton College. Can you do one with just the colors showing the dark? It's just lights." And I did it, and I did this one, and he liked it a lot. And then just for those who I did studies too of nudes. This is one here that I did. I had another one, and the other one was at a street festival. And this one lady kept on touching it. And I told the lady, don't touch it. And she put bad luck on it. And a wind came and it tore it. But I gave that one away.
Wait, so you were drawing a nude model in a festival?
No. I had a picture of a nude model like this. And, as part of the exhibition. And the lady kept touching it, putting her hands on it. And I said, please don't put your hands on it. She says, what do you mean, here or here? She says, no, anywhere. So when she finally left, there was a little breeze, and the breeze took it and it tore the painting. But I gave it to a friend. And then this is another one I did. This is just the backside with watercolor showing the different values and stuff, the shading. And this is one of my other original old ones that I did a long time ago, and just did it with the one different color and watercolor. And these are like experiments for me, and playing with the colors and seeing what I could do, and dealing with the shadow and shading with the face, and the same thing here, and then adding this, and then adding a little bit of color just here or there. But this is one of my old ones too.
Love it.
And then we go over here. We have, this is a friend of mine, and I call it Summons to Reality. And he just got some bad news, and so he had a letter, and he was all bummed out. So I just painted him. It's a watercolor, and I put a Summons to Reality, and the poem goes, love and hate, rich or poor, life or death, peace or war, which is the Summons to Reality. And then these two you've probably seen it a lot in the in Facebook. These are las mujeres de acción, or the women of action, up on the top. Just for those who want to know who they are, and I need to have my list. That's Modesta Avila, Jovita Idar Vivero, and Emma Tenayuca. The last two, these two, were from Texas, and they fought off the Texas Rangers. One was a labor leader, an organizer, an educator. Another one was a journalist. And the Texas Rangers burned the school of one of them, and the newspaper of the other one. The middle three women is Virginia Guzman, and this other lady over here was Felices Mendez, who were very much involved in the suit of the school districts of Santa Ana and Westminster, which may change the ruling of segregation in school education. And they're the catalyst to the Brown versus Board of Education, which was a Supreme Court, but it was to show and proof that Chicanos in Orange County did make a difference in dealing with, because of them, school segregation was eliminated in California in 1947, whereas the Brown versus Board of Education was in the mid-50s. And then right in the middle is Rosa Espinosa, a good friend of mine, and she was a city councilwoman and mayor of La Habra. She received the President's Volunteer Service Award, and she was educating some of the young people. We go down further, there's Chole Alatorre, was the partner of Bert Corona, and then there's Hilda Reyes, a brown beret. She was the poster girl or poster woman. And then there's Dolores Huerta. And then this is Isabel Chavala Hernandez Rodriguez, the mother of the Rod brothers from East LA, and the famous La Artista Marina Aguilera from Santa Ana, and then another Alicia Escalante, another woman who was very much involved with the Chicano movement in East LA. So all these are Los Mujeres de Acción from CASA and United Farm Workers. That's why you have CASA over here, you have UFWC, Se Puede, and Justicia para Todos. And then here, on this one, is Las Mujeres de Justicia in OC, in Orange County. This picture here was taken from a United Farm Workers March, but this one here is a brown beret woman from Placencia. That's the infamous Alicia Rojas. Sylvia Mendez, the daughter of Westminster Mendez. What's her name again? Felicitas Mendez. And then down here you have Rosa Espinosa again. And then, oh, Jesus, I can't remember their names. And then this is Priscilla Bueno, one of the Mommy Patrol of Placencia, and Josie Montoya, a community activist from Anaheim. This one that I didn't remember the name, she was very much involved with the women's rights movement in Santa Ana. Her last name was Varios. Okay, and this last painting down here is I did this a while back, and it's called Por mi vida, for my life. This is the struggle of people, on the other side of the border, reaching out to grab prosperity, which is a little plant. And in doing that, the struggles they have to go through, they bleed, their children, in the faces, and their struggles, but only to be stopped by society. You have the swastika right here in the city, and they're being stepped upon, and the boot is supposed to be like a goose stepping boot. You see the person in the back, but they're doing it por mi vida, for my life. So, okay, this is my other studio part, my studio part 2. The one that you saw was in the house, and this one is in the garage. This is where I do a lot more of my bigger artwork and art pieces, which is I'm working on one now here. It's going to be called, and it's not completed, but you'll see the complete one at this August at the Chicano Heritage Festival month at Santa Ana College upstairs in their gallery on the first Saturday. And the painting is called We Don't Tread, We Devour and Move Forward. It's because you'll see the snake, and there's a snake in there. And then back here, you see the spirits of the people who have been very influential from Ivar from Texas to Resta Bert Corona, Corky, Gloria Molina. There should be a lot more, but you could fit in it's overdone with a lot of people on it. And then you have the eagle here holding the snake, and on the snake is going to have the words of Zionism, fascism, racism, hate, because it's going to be it's not going to be distinct letters, but it's going to be involved with the shape of the snake. On this wall, I plan on putting on some other faces, and I don't want to get too much in faces, but it's going to be a lot of portraits there. You're going to have Vicky Castro. You're going to have De La Torre from Altmed. I'm going to have the astronaut over here. Over here, I'm going to have some female singers like Joan Baez. I might put in Salina, and then I put in like Richie Valens. So include them. But on the street here, like in this red right where you can see, this is going to be youth walking in front of this wall. This wall is going to be like a mural of people in there. And then here's a sidewalk, and on the street, I just might leave it like this, or I might put a nice vehicle or something in there. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided, but this is going to be completed hopefully by June of this year. Over here is one that I started working on with when the Ukraine war started, but I kind of stopped a little bit, and I'm going to make it into something different. It's just when I get the urge or something to draw, like this one was just something to draw. I just got fantasy-wise. I'll probably put, I don't know what I'm going to do there yet, just whatever comes up. And then I have a drawing over here, painting over here that I've been working on little by little. It's a watercolor. Uh, okay, this is a painting I did of Frida Kahlo, but it's a watercolor. But I didn't like it, so I turned around and I redid it and I gave it to my daughter. She has it now. And then here's another one that I'm doing of Frida. See, everybody does Frida. Like I was talking about Chicano art and stuff. And when they do Frida, they always put all those flowers and stuff on it. And it's beautiful and colorful. But there's a more to it in Frida. And this is one I found a photo of. And I'm doing a charcoal of Frida. Like when she's holding the gun down there. And, you could, the way that she's dressed is kind of, different, and Frida was always completely different than anybody. She was more progressive as with the woman, as a woman from that age and that era, whereas a lot of them, like if they were to see her day, but anyway. And this one is one of Emigdio that I started working on and I never finished. But I did the charcoal one of Emigdio, and it's inside my house, which was shown earlier. But this is another one of Emiggio's that painting that I did of Emigdio Vasquez. So again, my mentor.
For the people that don't know who Emigdio Vasquez is, who is he?
Okay, Emigdio Vasquez is considered the godfather of Chicano art in Orange County. He has done over 28 murals throughout Orange County and has shown throughout internationally. He has shown in Germany, Mexico, throughout the United States, and in his galleries and shows. He's a realist, and you can see his murals in Santa Ana College on the wall over at the Transportation Center, Irvine Valley College up there on the top. And in fact, you'll see a photo of a plaque, which they used my painting of Emigdio that I showed you earlier. And you'll see him in Anaheim. His paintings in Anaheim, Placencia. He has done all over. He's very, very progressive in it. There was some of the three main artists here, muralists here in Orange County were like Sergio Carres and Manuel Trujillo, I believe his name is. And they started out with murals, and Sergio Carres did one gigantic mural in Barrio Juarez, which was whitewashed because they didn't like the content of it, and which was bad. Not the content, but the people who whitewashed it. It was the city, I think, that whitewashed it in Fountain Valley, but they took it out. But Sergio Carres is also known for the sculpture that he did around the city hall. So, but Emigdio Vasquez was the one that did a lot more, and that's why he was dedicated and was given the name of the godfather of Chicano art in Orange County. He was also the creator of Empanada in Orange, and also the Orange County Latino Artist Network, which I was part of until Emigdio passed away. And we've done a lot of shows in dedication to Emigdio. So that's who Emigdio Vasquez is in a nutshell. This refers to after the Cuban Revolution, because he went through all kinds of other countries and fought. But when he participated in the Cuban Revolution, he suggested to Fidel and to Raúl Castro that you don't need the United States and you don't need Russia. If you're going to be a revolutionary country, be the example. Work with a Latin American country. He even states that in Motorcycle Diaries, that if the Latin American countries were ever to unite together, they have all the resources and all the economics there. They don't need Russia or United States to support them. And that's what I liked about Che. And Che was a true-hearted international revolutionary. He fought in Africa. He fought in Bolivia. He fought in Guatemala. He was all up and down, and for the people's rights and the workers' rights. In fact, I used to work for Coca-Cola, and there was a Sol Cubano there. And I questioned him, and I asked him, "Hey, did you like Fidel?" "Oh, no, Fidel Castro, no. Oh, caca, caca." And then he said, "What about Che Guevara?" "Oh, yes, we loved him." I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, you see, when Fidel would come into town, he'd have all these signs and stuff. But when Che came into town, you didn't know it. But then you turn around when you're working out in the cane, he's right there next to you, working with you." And that's what I liked about Che, is he worked with the people. Sure, he did some drastic stuff, but you show me one revolution in the war throughout the United States and even in the world where there was, the drastic stuff that didn't happen. But Che, to me, is a hero. Like Emiliano Zapata. The same thing, the Plan de Ayala that he came out with, very high in the way that he's doing it. In fact, somebody tried to compare him with Marxist-Leninism, but you can't. He didn't even know what Marxist-Leninism was, but he did do this one plan with the sharing of the land, and he was a dedicated revolutionary. And it was like the Tupamaros of Uruguay, the same thing there. These are the revolutionary groups that are sincere and not out for themselves or opportunists on it. You can have them. You have like in the Chicano movement, who are the sincere ones here? Of course, Bert Corona. I'm going to say that. And then there was Reyes Tejerina, Corky Gonzalez, the Brown Berets. Then you had the women, the Black Panther Party, the Young Lords. There's a lot of groups that were out there. As far as Weather Underground or Chicano Liberation Front, they were there. But these other ones were more, and they did something that were positive.
Thank you for coming with us through Abram's studio. Abram, I'm extremely appreciative to be able to call you my friend. Thank you for allowing the audience to come into your home. Do you have any final words?
Yes, I do. When I first started getting involved with artwork when I was young, it's like when Emigdio and I were talking, and I first met Emigdio and we were talking about artwork. I told him, you know what, Emigdio? I said, I've always wanted to do an art show. I talked to some of the other artists at the beginning, back when I started at Cerritos College, and I was always just, they were always disappointing to me. They were always putting me down for it, and they were not excited about it or pushing. And Emigdio reached out and he says, I'm going to put you in one. And he did. And I was showing with him for a long time. And he kept me under his wing. He mentored me. He showed me. He worked with me. He criticized and gave me positive and negative critiques on my artwork and how I can improve. I saw this. And then when working as a community activist and working with youth, I saw how the city and other groups, how they tend to treat the youth. And so when I started working in this art, I wanted to get more youth involved into the art field. So I started working with certain individuals and started mentoring some of them, and hopefully for them to do better, to give them that chance. The youth of today need that break, not for money purposes, not for fame, but to show them the right road, which way to go. Or it doesn't have to really be the right road, but a road or a path that they can have and they can choose. Just show them the techniques and the style, just like Emigdio did with me. Emigdio stated, Abe, I don't like watercolor stuff, but I like your subject matter. I like what you think and how you're creative. That's the same way that I want to do with a lot of these young people, is in working with them, is showing them that, it doesn't matter what media that they use or their styles. And sometimes I do get caught up on, and I have critiqued and gave bad reference, but then I take it back and I says, wait a minute, I was wrong. These young people need that chance to develop, need that chance to create, need that chance to express. And today's society does not really give them that chance. They say they do, but they don't. They only do it if they're going to make a profit off of it. This is not for profit. This is for them to be able to express themselves, to move forward. There are great young artists like Ty Wynn, of course, James here, Brianna Negrete, Roger Reyes, and more. And there's a lot more young people. Donatsin. All these young people, to give them a break, to show them how to organize gallery shows, to show them how to work and deal with murals, and to show them the colors and to teach others. So that way that they can go on as when they get older to teach others and other young people. So my goal in this is, for the whole thing, is to see, well, my goal is being reached by this young man, James Rocha. And that's one example. Out of 1,000, if I get one, that's success. So if there's 2 or 3, and working with these youth and young people and showing their creativity and their intelligence on there, they're not dumb, they're not stupid, they're smart and intelligent young people. I'd like to say thank you, James, for including me, and I do appreciate it. You're doing a fantastic job. with my years of artwork and activism, what I've seen, you're doing a really good job. And there's a lot of other young people that I'd like to see get up there and do some good work also. And like Katrina Mena also, and Brianna. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.